I showed everybody here in the studio my knees from climbing up the old mud trail, and I got the oohs and ahs that made it all worth it. Gordon Smith is with us with Revolution Green Power, and Gordon, thanks so much for joining us. First of all,
my pleasure.
Tell us a little. Did you have a good Father's Day? You have 3 kids, man.
I did. I was up at Guaymas Island Resort, just hanging out, dodging the raindrops.
Did you get some nice gifts or some nice cards or finger paintings?
Absolutely. My kids are 3, 6, and 9, so yeah, the best they could do at that age.
Hey, they probably stayed within the lines at 9. I hope, right?
Sure.
Well, Gordon, let's tell us a little bit about Revolution Green Power.
So we are we call it home performance contracting, a company that makes your house more efficient in times of, escalating fuel prices, and people are concerned about saving money, making their house more comfortable. And so we go into your house and do like a comprehensive audit, get down under your house in the crawl space, look at your ductwork, your insulation levels, all your appliances, your windows. Our main test is called a blower door test, where you depressurize the house, suck all the air out, and we have one of those thermal imaging cameras. You can go walk around and see where all the air is leaking in and out of your house, and determine, a plan how we can save you the most money, make your house more comfortable with the least investment, whether it's like tightening up what we call the building envelope, or adding more insulation, or it could be a new furnace.
I mean, I like the way you call it home performance, contracting, because people really don't even understand maybe what goes into their home's performance, do they?
No, we take the systems approach. Everything is, contributes to each other. If you have leaks in your floor, as your hot air rises and leaks out the ceiling, it draws in air, maybe from a cold, dank, nasty crawl space. So there's indoor air quality issues. In Washington, we got to be concerned about mold and moisture issues. Make sure the house is healthy, efficient, and, comfortable.
We have 2 excellent real estate professionals here, and I want to ask them also, but do people do this before they go buy a house, or is this something that you kind of live in a home for a while, and then you decide maybe it's the right time?
There's a few people that do it before. We've been getting a lot of people who've been calling recently, like, I just bought this house, and I got my first utility bill, and it was way higher than I thought it would be. And, I didn't budget for $500 a month, heating bills. You have to help me make my house more efficient. I'd say most of the people do it that way, retroactively, but we've had a few people do it before they buy a home.
It would seem like that would be such a great idea, like before you go buy a house, because most people get like an inspection, right?
Exactly.
But people don't typically understand, maybe like you said, the system of the house. How well does it really work?
Yeah, and there's a few cities in the nation, actually, that it is mandatory that you have to have a home energy audit before, a sale can happen. And I think eventually
here we thought we were so green here in Seattle, and now we know we're not. It's not required.
And Newark is, greener than we are. But
why is this so important? I mean, the financial aspect, certainly saving money is a great piece for a consumer. Where do you find these big issues in a home's performance?
Well, the one reason what sort of drives a lot of it right now is some of the utilities offering great options and rebates for people to have the audit done. We have people moving to this area from all over the country, and we have a limited sort of amount of power available. So they consider conservation as an actual resource. As people save more energy, they can use that energy to supply more people. And comfort drives a lot of it. People are uncomfortable. Their house is drafty or really hot in the summer. That's an important. And then, of course, saving energy. The biggest area, probably the number one user of energy in your house is your heater in Washington. The second one would be your water heater. Third is probably refrigeration, and then electronics and lighting. So
it's warming up and cooling off, and then figuring out to do when you're bored.
Exactly. Something like that.
And maybe, knowing what time it is, I suppose. We're here with Gordon Smith with the Revolution Green Power. So, okay, you go through and so you're testing the heater, the water heater, all these different aspects of a home that are consuming power. Mm-hmm. Is it it must really be almost enlightening for somebody to see where the money is being spent.
Yeah, actually we call it the money hole. That's what we're looking for every time. And it's Might be a big hole in their attic where all their can lights are, or around their attic hatch, or a hole behind a refrigerator that a contractor had cut out and is just leaking tons of energy out that. And all this information goes into a computer modeling program that estimates how much energy they use and then how much they could save if they did certain upgrades. So say you switch from an old oil furnace to a new high-efficiency heat pump. Your heating bill can drop from $1,800 a year down to $400 a year. So it's nice to have those savings predictions and, have an idea of what you can save if you do some of this work.
What are some of those other money holes, as you call them?
Attic hatches, crawl space hatches. The ductwork is usually, if your ductwork is in an unconditioned space like a crawl space or an attic or an unconditioned basement, national averages 20 to 30% of your air can leak out into those spaces. So that's warm, conditioned air that you're paying to heat leaking out into a space, making it more comfortable for rodents, or, that's just money lost into an unconditioned space.
And attracting rats.
Exactly. So sealing those up, and duct tape is actually against code to use on ductwork now.
Really?
You have to use duct mastic, which is like a glue that is painted on and really actually seals up the system.
That's funny. So duct tape is no longer good for ducts?
No duct tape, no.
That's now it's just good for everything else.
Everything else except ductwork. Because it gets hot and cold, and then the tape gets all brittle and it falls off, and then your ducts are disconnected and leaking. And
when did that happen? I mean, are there still ducts that are out there with real duct tape?
Lots of them everywhere. That just actually happened in July, where it is now code that you have to have seal duct system every time you either get a new furnace or have a new house or get a swap out.
Interesting. We're here with Gordon Smith, again, president with Revolution Green Power. Gordon, we just have about a minute before we have to go to break. You talked about energy efficient mortgages.
That's a system built into every FHA loan and VA loan. If you're buying a house for say $300,000 and you've maxed out your debt to income ratio, that's the most house you can afford. But the house is very inefficient, needs a new furnace or windows or something. You can tack on an additional 5% to do some energy efficiency upgrades. And it's built right into the loan. You just have to have the work done within 90 days and have to have an audit that shows you're going to save more money per month than you're going to spend adding those additions onto your loan.
Yep.
Great program that's really underused, and I don't know why agents and brokers aren't doing it.
I mean, I come from the mortgage industry, and it is massively underused.
Yeah.
People are going for, even if you go to say a rehab loan, it's not typically what people are doing. They're doing a lot more aesthetics than they are
exactly
the money saving side.
People don't like to put money into insulation in places where they can't see.
So pretty though. I can't imagine. Can't imagine why people are like, oh man, let's get some
pink and itchy.
Get some insulation. It's pink and itchy. Can't imagine why people aren't more excited about insulation. Gordon, thanks so much for joining us. We do have to go to break. When we come back, a great friend of our show, Jared Frazier, one of our favorites, is going to join us and let you know, hey, the cost of school keeps going up. We've talked about student loans being a pretty risky way to go. How can you maybe capture some money from your kids when they're going to college? Well, maybe not from them, but how can you at least make some money when your kids go to college? We'll be right back and let you know the answer. You're listening to Brashenomics.